Yes, there it is.
In this hour, we are going to be talking about all of that and a whole lot more. Bill has been with Maranatha since 2005 and the campus pastor at Maranatha Chisago Lakes campus since 2011. Come along and join In Pursuit.
Here we go. We'll do it again.
Made it.
No problem. No problem at all. It's the live aspect of everything that you're doing, right?
It's true.
It is. It is good. Yeah. So we're here. I'm here. I'm Bill.
I'm Denise.
Who's that?
The guy who messed up? I don't know who that is.
James, how you doing?
That's it. James Hall. Can't believe I did that.
I'm going to get a text from him now. Oh, that's funny. And Alice is out there with a set of headphones on as well. It's great to have you guys here joining us as always. Greetings to those of you that might be listening. I got a text from one of our most regular live listeners, and it is Megan and Molly out planting the garden. So if you're able to listen to it later, just a special hello to these two Erky ladies joining us every week.
Yes, it's sweet.
Yeah. It's a cute picture of Molly out helping her mother plant in their raised bed gardens.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It is. It's cute.
Yeah.
Molly's cute.
She's cute. She's very sweet. Yeah, she's very sweet. So, yeah, welcome to In Pursuit. It's great to have you join us. As always, let us know if you are with us today. We, I don't know. I just think it's kind of fun just to know people are right there with us, right there. Hey, you know what? To kick things off, James, Shane, Shames, whatever
Shames.
We're going to go with here. Jane, how about those Wolves?
Hey, that's how we play, man. Game one, we just let them do whatever they want to do, and then we can come back because now we know exactly how they want to play, and then, Wolves in 5, just like the
Same
Prophet
as before?
James said last time.
The Prophet James. That's great. James called it last one.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Is he going with Wolves in 5 again? Do you know?
No, he's not. No, it's definitely a different beast this time around.
Is
so
it?
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. So
We could get some fouls going our way, not to be one of those guys, but yeah.
Oklahoma kind of get the
man,
calls.
you should. There's a guy named Shea on that team, and when he drives to the lane, he's going to purposely run into somebody on his way, and then he's going to get an and one. So he pretty much runs at the hoop, throws it, and will at the very least get 2 free throws.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
And he gets a lot of the calls?
He gets a lot of the calls, and it kind of reminds me of why I stopped watching. I'm getting back in it with Ethan now, but that's why I stopped. It's because all these fouls.
Yeah.
So.
And the favoritism.
And
Yeah. That's too bad.
Bugs you. But.
Yeah. Are they the Chiefs? The Chiefs of
Well, that's how the NBA though is they don't necessarily have full teams. They have players.
Oh, I see.
There's
okay.
certain players. Like if LeBron looks at a ref,
yeah.
foul. Like, you know what I mean?
And
like
then
there's
he
certain
flops
people.
around.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, no one touched you, but whatever. You're LeBron.
Yeah. You looked at us the right way, so we're going to make the call. Yeah, that's funny. So what are so I haven't been able to watch any because it just makes me mad that I can't just turn on channel 11 or 9 or 5 or 4.
That's frustrating.
Yeah. And so I just kind of keep up on even like tonight, they play tonight, right? Mm-hmm. So throughout the night, I'll probably just check my phone, see how they're doing, updates and stuff. But is Anthony Edwards really is he the big deal?
That's actually Ethan and I's conversation because I'm still KG at heart.
Yeah.
And he's a big fan of Anthony Edwards.
Well, KG's old school.
Yeah, he's the old school, right? That's what I grew up with. He brought us to the playoffs all the time.
Yep.
So now to see Ant be the one bringing us to the playoffs, I think they're just completely different because KG can just do more post-up. He was phenomenal at long twos. Nowadays, he would be yelled at. They would tell him, take a step back. Because nowadays everyone takes a 3. And he took
pointers.
a phenomenal amount of long twos. So KG could have been way better if he literally just would have taken one step back, But
behind the 3-point line you're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Take one step back to the 3-point line instead of taking a really long 2. It's the worst shot in basketball.
Yeah.
But Ant's more of a driver, and he can shoot the 3 just fine, but he's more of a driver, and he's far more talented in the handles part of it. He can get to the hoop, and they both got a great shot. And they're both leading us to the playoffs.
Yeah.
We just got to get over that hump for the first time
Yeah.
ever. It would be great.
Boy, that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be neat.
Yeah, no one's done it since the Twins in 81.
91? 87 and 91, I think they won. Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, and the
Super Bowl this year.
We're
Say it every-
coming. We're coming. Yeah, that's good. Well, I'm excited for you and James. It's always fun, like just sitting in my office. I kind of overhear you guys connecting over the Timberwolves, and I think that's one of the things that sports can do.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. Absolutely.
builds relationships. Just one more thing you have in common, have that connection, the water cooler talk, and I think it's neat. I think it's pretty fun. Yeah, we're pretty much K fan right now.
Yeah, right. Well, tell me here, me boy. We'll start getting
That's
the
right.
stats out.
It would be the common man, wouldn't it? Yeah. Couple 13, 14.
14 past the hour.
That's good stuff. These two are just sitting here looking at us right now. Like,
I'm looking for the button to push to change the channel.
That's enough of that sports talk.
Where's my country station?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it's fun. Well, so this week, just a quick smoking update. We did do some smoking this week. We are really enjoying using the smoker. We will once again be smoking steaks on Memorial Day because Sunday, Madison and Tanner are coming over, and Tanner's picking up some big ribeyes.
Yum.
Yeah. I don't know where he's getting them from, but he's pretty excited about picking them up, and then we're going to smoke these big steaks, and we're going to have the Blackstone ready to go, so we'll pull them out of the smoker, throw them right on the Blackstone, and sear them up. And last time we did this,
They were so good.
outstanding. Yeah, they were really good. So we're excited about that. Last week, I think it was Tuesday, we smoked another chunk of venison backstrap. We did not overcook or forget about this one.
No.
Matter of fact, it probably could have gone another 5 degrees, but it was delicious.
It was delicious, yeah.
But while we were cooking that, I wanted to try something. I've never done this. So we just took some bacon, some store-bought bacon. So it wasn't like raw pork belly that we sliced or anything like that. This was just a store-bought package of bacon, but we cooked it on the smoker. And it was really good.
It was good.
I started off, I put a couple strips on the grate and then a pan full of them. And I just didn't like how the pan was, it was just taking longer, and the ones on the metal grate they were cooking just fine. So I took all of them out of the pan, put the whole package of them on the grate, and they turned out really good.
They did. They were really good. Nice
Yeah.
and crispy.
It was good, yeah. Well, I cooked them, I cooked that venison roast and the bacon initially at 225. And then when I took the venison roast off to let it sit for 10 minutes, I cranked up the smoker to 300, and then the bacon was in there for 5 or 10 minutes, and I think that's what helped crisp it up.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
Yeah, so anyway, that was absolutely delicious.
It was.
Yeah.
It was so good.
We were just talking today. Were we talking today about it? We need to smoke a pork butt.
Yeah.
We gotta pick one of those up.
Yeah.
Again.
We like pork on there.
You know what we need on this show? We need a meat sponsor.
It's true. A butcher,
Yeah.
meat shop
Yeah.
sponsor.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be unbelievable if someone said, yeah, do a 30-second commercial for our little butcher shop and we'll give you stuff to smoke. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's like,
That's a good idea.
yeah. So between Traeger
Yep.
and
The meat shop and Shields.
a meat shop,
Shields
yeah,
give you equipment to try out.
I'm telling you what.
Give it a rating, a review. This
Yeah.
could be good.
Could be, yeah. We'll work on getting to that point, huh? That'd be
I
super
think we
fun.
need a little bit higher viewership to get sponsorship.
Nah,
Nah.
we're good. Let's see. So that's is there anything else that we want to just kind of small talk about? I try and do the small talk a little bit before jumping in. Is there anything else that we need to chat about?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, we'll go over a couple of things coming up after the bottom of the hour break and after the word of the week, which we're super excited about.
Super excited.
Yeah. I want to carry over from last week's show or episode, if we can. I want to talk about just relationships, In Pursuit of Love. So this is going to be In Pursuit of Love Part 2. And I just want to talk about relationships. I know a lot of people, like people getting married, people engaged, people dating, young and old, people that are on second marriages. There's all these different situations. And so just talking about relationships, I think it's a good topic to get into. or carry on. Last Saturday morning, a couple from our church put on a mini kind of a marriage conference, which I thought was great. And here's one of the things that I appreciated, and I want to talk a little bit about this today. One of the things that I appreciated that they talked about, it just was a lot about the importance of our faith, the importance of like God's design for marriage and being a man and being a woman, and how a man takes care of a woman and a woman takes care of a man. But one of the things that just got me thinking about, even as I was riding here on the bike, was the importance of our faith in our relationships. I actually heard, I don't remember who this was, I just heard it recently, but it was someone who said, I won't even date somebody that doesn't share my faith, because that is such an important part of my life.
That's smart.
It is smart. Like especially a younger person, it's not even an option, not because of judgment or better than or any of the stuff that people are going to want to throw at it, even if listening to this. It's not about that. It's about having that shared, equally yoked, the heart, the mind, because it's a big part.
It is.
Yeah.
Faith directs everything. Everything in life you should go through. Everything in life should go through your faith.
There's a key word there.
Yeah, I can't figure it.
Should.
It should.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. Our faith, I mean, even as Christians, I don't think we can confidently say that our faith dictates everything we do and how we act and who we are. It should.
Should.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, unless we get down that road, come back when you think about relationships, though. So a young person, Shane's a single guy. By the way, Shane's a single guy.
Hey. I don't think he appreciated that.
He didn't. Boy, that look. I wish we had cameras on here right now. Maybe he's not. I don't know.
Maybe he didn't share anything
with you yet. Is he off the market? Are you off the...
I am not, but
okay.
Thanks for bringing it up. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Throw that out there.
Now we can do... We can get sponsors from...
ChristianMingle.com. Yeah. That's where I met the love of my life.
I'm sorry I brought it up. My bad. But in a serious note, I can say confidently for you, and anybody that you would even begin building a relationship, I believe, would have to be a believer.
For sure.
You would have to have... Right?
Prerequisite.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As you're getting to know somebody, if there's something in there, like you said, you need to be equally yoked. And that's what I've read. And therefore, it's 100% ingrained into me now that is something that I would be looking for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And what a great thing to do. Like have that as one of the core. This is like you said, this is important. This is a prerequisite to have that shared faith. Mm-hmm. Because I think it can cause a lot of issues, just down the road, if you're not equally yoked in that area of faith.
Well, that faith, that to me, that's a lot of just confidence. So many different things can happen now, and if it's a tribulation, I say, this is going to be cool to see what God does out of this. Like let's sit back and watch what He can do.
Sure.
I mean, it's just like that confidence factor, that just the ability to just. It's not that you don't care. It's just that you're excited to see the outcome. It's that you're 100% faithful, no matter what it is. It's for my best.
Yeah.
That's what He wanted. So I'm on board with whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah. And that's a great way to look at it. Very good way. And that's what I think more and more people, young and old, because you're not old, but you're not young. And so I think that's a great principle for a believer to look at. And so now if you take that, okay, we're gonna start, you think of James in Scotland, they're not here today, but you think of them, okay, they're two believers, they're gonna be building this marriage on a foundation of being equally yoked in faith. Doesn't mean they're not gonna have problems, which could probably be a whole nother conversation too. We're Christians, why is our marriage hard? Well, because you're still people. Yeah. broken, messed up, dysfunctional people. But yeah, so to have that foundation of faith, okay, so now, what about people that are married? What about people that have this relationship? I just even thinking about it, and there's some conviction in my heart for us, even just thinking about our marriage, and obviously God is a big part of our marriage.
Yes.
Because of what we do. I mean, like God, the church. I mean, this is our life, right?
It really is.
It's our life. But I'm convicted, even as a man, like I could do more as far as bringing God into our marriage, our relationship, right? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
And I think that's like, we can start talking about all of these things, because I'd like to talk about the love languages and love banks, because I think that is a very tangible way to check in with one another. And so I want to get into that too. But before we do a lot of that stuff, I think we got to come back to, okay, where's God in your marriage, in your relationship, in your engagement, in your dating? Like, where's God in that? Because if you think about it, like you had said earlier, we should put, like, our faith should affect every aspect of our life, right?
Right.
And so if we put God in our marriages, and so even back that up, how's my personal relationship with God? How's your personal relationship with God?
Right.
And if we start there, building this relationship, not doing more religious stuff, well, our marriage will be better if we go to church more. Yeah, it might help a little bit, but not nearly as much as if you pursue God, and if you build that relationship with God, and if you spend time with God, and if you pray and you listen and you allow Him to speak to your heart. That that's the most important thing you can do personally for yourself, but also if you think about it from a relationship standpoint.
I would agree with that.
So go ahead, were you going to say something else?
Well, the thought in my head was, if you don't work on yourself individually, but you try and do that together, I don't know how well that would go with me. I would think that I would feel like, if I wasn't working on my relationship with the Lord, and you and I did things together intentionally to bring God into our relationship, and I hadn't worked on myself first, I think I would feel fake and phony.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah? Am I saying that right?
I know exactly what you mean. So what I would want to do is I kind of bring us back to last week, and this is where honesty comes in.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's not because otherwise it falls into religiousness where, okay, this has to look a certain way. The idea is not to make something look a certain way. The idea is to let God help us be a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so if I hadn't worked on myself, and we come together and we try and do this thing to help us grow spiritually, I would have to make it look
right,
like I was better than I was, or more in tune with God than I was, because I hadn't done that work on my own.
Yep, I understand what you mean. Yeah.
So I think the individual
relationship
is very important.
Yeah. Yeah, to have the healthy two individual then coming together, forming the one in the relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's like you talk about roles and responsibilities, or not you talk about, but we think about that stuff. So roles and responsibilities and who we are in the relationship. Like, I think that a key, like Shane was saying, I think a key component to our marriage is God.
Absolutely.
And that we have a desire for Him to be in the center. So now,
right.
Maybe this isn't correct, but I would almost say, like, I have a responsibility to you as part of my commitment and as part of the foundation of our relationship. I have a responsibility to continue that relationship with the Lord, to listen to the Lord, to honor the Lord.
On your own.
On my own.
Right.
Yeah, I have that as almost as part of the vows, you know what I mean? Right. I might add that to some vows now.
Yeah.
You know, a vow to be committed to my relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
As well as you.
Yeah.
You know?
Without putting parameters on the opposite individual, because it can look different for everyone.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a personal relationship. That's a good thing to keep coming back to, is it's a personal relationship.
Right.
Am I faithful to that personal relationship with the Lord first and foremost?
Right.
Because that is the best thing I can do for our marriage. If you're younger and you have kids, you know, and I just, because Megan texting that her and Molly out, I think of Johnny and Megan. Mm-hmm. The best thing Johnny can do for his wife and his kids is build his relationship with the Lord, which he's been doing. It's been beautiful to watch.
Yeah. And the best thing Megan can do for her relationship with Johnny and with her kids is to build her relationship with the Lord.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Which again, we've been able to watch them grow.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. But so again, we talk about these relationships. We talk about like all the different things we can do. And this is the part that just kind of got a hold of me, maybe from the marriage thing, maybe just, you know, the Lord convicting me a little bit. But it's like, that relationship with God, it's so stinking important, you know?
Yeah.
It is. It's so important. And not just go to church, because that's what it's easy, like, yeah, we're going to work on our marriage. We started going to church, or, you know, it's like, yeah, that's great. I'm like, very rarely would I ever say, don't go to church, right?
Yeah.
But we have to be careful that the motivation to go to church, or what we're looking for at church, it's not a quick fix or okay, now we're going to church, we're doing some more religious things, it's going to get better. All those things can be great, but if you're missing the relationship with God, what's going to happen is you're going to go to church, you're going to leave, and you're going to be the same jerk that maybe you were at home, right?
Right.
But if you're pursuing a relationship with the Lord, what naturally happens is the heart starts to change. From the inside out, we change. From the inside out, Lord, my soul.
I don't know that song.
You don't know that song? Do you know that song? None of you know that song?
Maybe we just need more words.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that failed drop it. But yeah, it just is. I think, I hope that's conveying clearly the importance. Like, I can't emphasize it enough. The importance of our relationship with the Lord when it comes to our relationships with other people.
Right. And going to church, you can build relationships with other Christians that will help you and hold you accountable and help you grow your marriage towards Christ. Like, if you're hanging around people that are Christ-centered and you're trying to be Christ-centered and your marriage needs help, those people can come alongside you and help.
Yeah.
And you build those relationships by going to church and then hanging out outside of church. And so going to church isn't a bad thing if your marriage is in trouble.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not the starting point. The starting point is your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it just is. Yeah, that part could probably go on and on, because it is such a, I don't know, it's so important that I think it's overlooked. Like we talked about last week, praying for each other, spending time even praying with each other. I mean, these things are so important.
They are.
I know couples, Jim and Linda, they pray and they read their Bible every day together, and it's something that there is a together thing there too.
Right.
You know, so just kind of starting somewhere with that spiritual aspect of our relationships is so important.
It is.
It's so important. Well, we're about to take our bottom of the hour break, but before we do that, one of the favorite times of the show, our word of the week.
Word of the week. This is the part of the show where Denise and Bill learn new words in pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the English language, and so they can sound smarter. I saw you looking at my word.
Yeah,
scowling.
Can't even pronounce it.
It's loquacious. And I'm going to be a bit loquacious in my word of the week this week. So I've already used it in a sentence. Look at that. Loquacious. The definition is talking or talking much or freely, talkative, chattery, a loquacious dinner guest. And then the second definition is characterized by excessive talk or wordy. Okay, so there's a lot here I want to say. I'm going to be quite loquacious. So speaking about the meaning of loquacious, loquacious undeniably has a certain poetic ring. It has been a favorite of the writer writerly sort since it made its first appearance in English in the 17th century. With poetic license, writers stretched its meaning beyond talkative, and especially excessively talkative, to describe such things as the chattering of birds and the babbling of brooks. Isn't that a cool word? It's just so
I like it.
versatile. The ultimate source of all this chattiness is loqui, a Latin verb meaning to talk or speak. Other words descending from loqui include, I love this, colloquial, eloquent, soliloquy, and ventriloquism. I love that.
Wow.
That's, I know. It's just a cool, you're thinking of Loki from Marvel, aren't
Yeah,
you?
of course I am. Stop me right. I'm done.
Anyway, that's not the same.
Oh, okay.
And then in the dictionary, you know, when I'm looking these words up, the synonym for loquacious, there's 4 specific words: talkative, loquacious, garrulous, and voluble. Garrulous. So there's 4 words that mean similar things, and you have to know the right one to use, which I find very interesting, because using the wrong word that means talkative, you can put a negative spin on. And so we're going to go over all of these. Talkative. That may imply a readiness to engage in talk or a disposition to enjoy conversation, like a talkative neighbor. Garrulous. I did look up the pronunciation of that. Garrulous implies prosy, rambling, or tedious loquacity. Tedious becomes like garrulous traveling companions. It becomes tedious because they're talking so much. And then there's voluble, which suggests a free, easy, and unending loquacity. Voluble, which is a similar word to loquacious, I feel. And then loquacious suggests the power of expressing oneself articulately, fluently, or glibly. A loquacious spokesperson. Isn't that cool? This is a fun word. I can spell it for you. Loquacious. That's why you looked at it funny.
I wish you could all see, because Denise is having a blast right now, reading all this stuff and saying these cool words.
It's so interesting.
She's having so much fun right now.
Yeah. So there's a sentence online that uses the word loquacious, and I thought it was just a cute sentence. It says, with a wonderful memory for detail, this talkative woman, who my father said never forgets anything, became truly loquacious. Isn't that a nice sentence?
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
So what do you think about our word?
I like it a lot. I can only imagine that I will use it over and over and over again in my loquaciousness.
So anyway, we know if we don't use our new word, we will lose our new word. So I would like to use loquacious in my own sentence.
I can't wait.
I know. Bill is a loquacious speaker who keeps my attention even through 4 services each weekend.
Very nice.
Yeah, my loquacious Bill.
That's awesome.
And that's our word of the week.
You're listening to In Pursuit with me, Pastor Bill, a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. WAJC is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. If you would like to visit Maranatha Chisago Lakes campus, we have 4 weekend services to choose from. Visit maranathashisago.org to learn more and to check out some past messages.
We're back.
Yay.
Loquacious.
Loquacious. Let's be loquacious
We shall be.
for the next 21 minutes and 39 seconds.
We'll be loquacious.
Loquacious.
That sounds good. I loved it. That was my favorite part, was just watching you do that and having so much fun doing that.
It's a fun word.
It's very fun. Absolutely. You made that word fun.
Oh.
It was great. Hey, before we get back to our topic real quick, again, for those of you that might be listening, I want to remind you the Blessing of the Bikes is coming up June 1st. It's a huge event and opportunity, so check that out. And then also, just check out our websites for both of the campuses. That's the thing I would encourage you to do. There's great things happening on the weekends. Wednesday nights at both campuses have great kids ministry, youth stuff happening, adult options. So check out realchurch.org and for the Chisago campus, check out MaranathaChisago.church. And if you have any questions about the churches at all, please do not hesitate to reach out. Even if you listen to this down the road, you happen to stumble upon it in a year or two, feel free to just reach out. We would love to answer any questions you have. As we loquaciously continue this conversation, just ruminating on relationships, cloistered into this little radio booth here. Here's what I want to kind of...
Don't tell me you brought a cutlass today.
I didn't bring a cutlass today, but you know what? It's funny because the other day I was driving home, I saw an old cutlass, and it made me think of that word. Yeah. All I could think of was James saying my speakers was the most 90s things he's ever heard. So what I want to do, because I do want to take the next 15, 20 minutes and talk about relationships a little bit more. So I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about something that I think is pretty practical. It's a book that I read. Millions of people have read this book. I think it has great value in relationships, and it's the love languages. And so if you're not familiar with this, the 5 love languages are physical touch, gift giving, acts of service, words of encouragement, and quality time. And so those are essentially what this author lists as the 5 love languages. And the idea behind this is to establish what your top 3 are. So what do you feel you need the most in order to feel loved? And a little side note, this is like they have a love language for kids as well. And so you can look at these 5 and also apply them to your kids and kind of love them the way they need to be loved as a parent.
Yeah, when this first came out, I was just blown away by this. It was so practical and so eye-opening to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after I read that book, then I went and got the one for the kids, because all of my kids are different. Mm-hmm. And I one thing that stuck out super plain in my mind, because this was a long time ago, my kids were a long time ago, is I had one of my kids, his love language was physical touch, and mine is physical touch. And so it was very easy to give love to him. And then one day he needed a spanking, and I spanked him, and it destroyed him. Mm. And I had used his love language, his number 1 love language, as a discipline tool, and that I never did it again.
Sure.
That was horrible. It was horrible. And so I never disciplined him with that again. And I didn't understand at the time until I read the book, and then I went, okay, that's why that happened. So to have this information it's huge. It's huge in relationships, but also in parenting kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I knew not to spank him again because it was just it was horrible. And my heart just hurt, but I didn't know why. Yeah. And so this book opened my eyes to that. And
what a valuable piece of information.
So valuable. Yeah.
And yeah, so these languages, you kind of figure out the top 3, and like you just kind of touched on, we naturally love easiest the way we want to be loved the most.
Right.
And so what we end up doing is if my number 1 is words of encouragement, which it is, then it's easy for me to love you with words of encouragement, which again, we all need all 5 of these things.
Right. All of them are good.
We need all of them. But there are certain things that make us feel the most loved, and that's what we want to kind of focus in on. Right. So it's natural for me to just use kind words because that's how I feel most loved.
Right.
So I might be doing that and doing it well and a lot, and it feels good, but you're still not really being filled up because maybe I'm not being affectionate. Right? Yeah. That makes sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's taking these 5 and numbering them 1 through 5 and figure, okay, what's my top? What do I feel like I need the most? What makes me feel loved the most? And then just going down through 5.
Right.
And the result of it, this is the part of this that I kind of like, is you look at it and you figure out, okay, where's your love bank balance? Because we all you have to have money in your account if you're gonna take a hit. If you're gonna make a withdrawal there has to be money in your account or you can't, you go negative.
Right.
And what I think, honestly, is, and I know I make broad brushstroke statements all too often. I know that, but
That's kind of a broad brush stroke.
I'm going to do it again, though. It is a broad brushstroke. But I think that the majority of marriages are just suffering through and are running on a negative balance in their love banks. And I know, again, maybe it's not. Maybe it's only 20% of marriages. But as I talk to different people, I really get an idea. It's like, this could be so much more than it is right now. Like,
Right.
you love each other. You put a little more, if you be a little more fit, be a little more focused, be a little more intentional, take a little more time, this can be so much more. This can be life-giving instead of just suffering through,
Yeah.
And
And maybe your viewpoint is a little bit askew because people do come to you when they're having trouble.
Yeah, that's
And
a good
so
point.
it's possible that you're slightly skewed in your percentages.
Right.
But
I would say that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but still there's a high percentage. Even if the percentage is 10,
Yeah.
that's 10% of marriages that could be so much better.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think it's 10%, but
Yeah, well, and even I think that you and I have a great relationship, but just we were talking about the show yesterday. We were driving in the car.
we were.
And so we started talking about our love languages.
Yeah.
And like, how are we doing with that? And that's kind of the idea with it. It's not a one time, hey, let's take this little love language test. Hey, how's your bank balance? Well, my bank balance is good and my bank balance is good. Okay, well then we're good now for the
Yeah.
next 50 years,
Right.
And I think that's what ends up happening. People would say, yeah, I read that book. It was awesome. I read it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And well, you gotta, think about your bank. That's why I like the picture of the bank. Think about your bank. Like how often do you check your bank's balance? At least monthly, right? Most people would say at least monthly, if not more often than that.
Absolutely.
And so,
Well, and you're making deposits more than once a month too. if you're working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's that same picture of the bank, like you're making deposits and withdrawals, deposits and withdrawals, deposits and withdrawals. And if the deposits aren't more than the withdrawals, number one, you probably need to go to a financial advisor and see what's up there. But then what happens? You go in the negative. That's what I think is happening in relationships today.
Right. And withdrawals aren't intentional.
No.
Those are just life.
But it's part of life.
Part of life.
Yep.
And so you need to be making deposits because withdrawals happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, and then every once in a while, there is a big thing, a big withdrawal that takes place.
Yeah.
A major screw up or a comment. It can be anything like that,
Yeah.
But yeah, so are we prepared for the withdrawals? I guess that's kind of the whole point of this, get in touch with it. Have an honest conversation. Be okay with the other person saying, you know what, if I can be honest, because we kind of want to be honest in our relationships.
Right.
If I could be honest, my bank balance it's not real high right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many more withdrawals we can sustain before we're struggling. Okay, then that's kind of like if that were you saying your bank balance is low, that might hurt me. But isn't that information I want to know?
Right.
I mean, like, if I really want to have a great marriage and enjoy life, that's the kind of honesty I think we need to have with each other.
It's an intentional investment into your relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And if there's too many withdrawals happening, that needs to be a discussion. If there's not enough deposits, that needs to be a discussion, know? And again, some people would say, well, isn't that kind of like I'm trying too hard and it just needs to happen naturally? It's never going to happen naturally.
No.
It's never going to happen naturally unless you start it. Unless you kind of make yourself, okay, she needs words of encouragement. I'm going to, if you have to, it's like, doggone it, write it on your calendar. So when you open your calendar and you get to your office, you shoot your wife a text that says, I love you and you're beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
set a timer on your phone.
Yeah, something to get yourself in the habit. I personally, I don't know, I'm no counselor, obviously. We're not therapists or anything, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I absolutely don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you're being careful. You're taking care of your marriage.
Yeah.
If you need a timer to set off, you don't have to tell your spouse that you're setting a timer. But if you need a timer to set off every evening around supper time, kiss my wife. Go and kiss your wife. Let the timer go off and then go and kiss her. Just appreciate her. Or unload the dishwasher of acts of service. Set a timer to remind yourself to do something for them. That's being intentional and taking care. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know. It would be interesting if we were like to the call-in point
Yeah.
of the show. That would be
people with letters after their name call in and tell us we're nuts.
You need to stop talking about this.
That would be embarrassing. Don't call in.
Yeah.
We don't have phones.
Well, I think that it's a very and again, I know people that have been married 20, 30 years, do this, check in with each other, ask about their bank balance, go figure out, you can Google the love language list, you'll get it right away.
Yeah.
Take the little quiz, find, if you don't know this of your spouse, I don't think I could say what your 1 through 5 is, but I know that affection, that touch is very important to you.
Right.
That would be your number 1.
Yes.
I don't think I could put the rest of them in 2 to 5 order.
Yeah.
But
I don't know that I could put them in 2 to 5 order.
yeah, your own.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. I think this is why it's important to keep checking back in with it, because it changes.
It can.
My love language from when you and I were first together, my number 1 has probably changed 2 or 3 times as we've gone through things in life, as we've moved, as our relationship has grown. I mean, it's not like you're just, always going to be that.
Stuck with one.
Yeah.
Man, if I pick this one, this is me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I gotta be careful. Might get analysis paralysis.
There you go, analysis
Isn't that a cool
paralysis.
word? Analysis paralysis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it changes, I think. I think that, especially you think of a young couple, people in their early 20s. Well, you get married and you find out your husband or your wife's number 1 love language. Chances are that's going to change if you have kids or once you buy a house. I mean, it's constantly, in my opinion, changing with life circumstances.
Right. And if you've been in relationships where one has been hugely lacking, that can become a very focal point for you.
You're starving for it.
You're starving for it. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So that once that balances out, it can change again. So, yeah. Because starving isn't fun.
It's not fun.
Nope.
And that's how the bank balance gets depleted.
Right.
That's where the value or the importance of that number 1. What's that number 1? How do you want to be loved?
Right. And so talking about that, like you said, it can hurt you if somebody says, "Hey, my love languages aren't being met by you." That can be painful. But for you you would kind of have to set your pride aside. Like if you came to me and said, "I'm not being filled up," I would have to set my pride aside and say, "Yeah, I will work at it. I will set a timer in my phone. I will do better." And then the flip side of that is if you get mad at somebody.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a good point.
Yeah, you can use if
I can't wait.
If words of affirmation.
This is be loquacious right now.
I don't know that I can be loquacious about this. You can take it out. But words of affirmation, if that's your number 1 love language, and then I shred you with my words, that's devastating. Or if mine is physical touch and you withhold physical touch because you're mad at me.
Yep.
And you don't touch me out of punishment.
10 minutes.
Yeah. That would be painful. But you see what I mean?
It's like it makes perfect sense.
You open yourself up.
Yep.
So marriage can be very. You don't want to use. You don't want to use these against your spouse.
Yep.
You want to be careful. You want to protect them.
Yeah, it's very important. That kind of, gosh, a whole nother topic. I can't remember if this was a book. It would have been an old book, but it having to do with fighting fair. Do you remember reading a book about fighting fair, or maybe it was just a chapter or something? Do either of you remember? Yeah, I dug on it. But that's a great.
Is that in a his needs, her needs thing?
I don't know. It could
Okay.
be.
Yeah.
It could be. But that like what you bring up to fight fair, you
Yeah.
know, because you're gonna argue. I mean, you're gonna fight, you
Yeah.
know. But the thing to always have in your mind is, okay, however I handle this disagreement right now, I love this person, and I'm still going to live with this person, which I think we forget sometimes. It's like, man, I can't believe I said that. I'm going to see her again. If she lets me back in from the pole barn, I'm going to have to see her again, and I just said that. But we have to. It's a serious thing of not just fighting fair, but like you love this person,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Some of the terrible things that people say to each other, and I've said,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, it's crazy when you stop and think about it. And so like you're bringing up this point of not using the love language as ammunition in one way or another.
Right.
Like, okay, I know she really needs that physical touch. Well, I'm not going to give her a hug. I'm not going to hold her hand. I'm not going to sit by her on the couch.
She's going to know I'm mad because.
Yeah, and I'm going to show her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now what we're doing is we're digging a deeper hole, and this is hard stuff.
It is.
I mean, it's easy to sit here and talk about this like, oh, you know, you might be mad, but don't really say anything, or you know, hold your tongue or whatever. It's hard to do this stuff.
Right.
It really is, but it's also, you know, that's where again I would encourage the value of working on your relationship with the Lord, because even the way I talk to you when I'm hurting or scared or upset or broken or angry, even in that, I still want to honor God with how I talk to you, my wife, his daughter. And that's a very, very difficult thing to do when your emotions are taking over everything.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's real life.
It is. It is. And even like when you're angry, doesn't anger, I think I read this somewhere, when you get angry, like hopping mad, there's a chemical reaction in your brain where you actually kind of become crazy. You like,
I believe it.
yeah, you, because of the chemicals that are being released because of your anger, it can make you an insane person.
Yeah.
And so to have control of that and not damage your relationship further than just the topic of this argument. Like if you're fighting, there's a one thing you're fighting about, and if you spread it out, it causes
It ends up being like the people that were rioting in Ephesus. The Bible says most of them didn't even know what they were all worked up about.
Right.
I think I mentioned this in that message when we read through that. It's like, yeah, you think about when you get to that point where you're that upset, what are we even, like, what was the original thing that we were fighting about? And I know there's been days in our life, the days of our lives.
days of our lives.
There's been days in our life together where something will happen and it'll be a day. It'll be like the next morning before we're really like on the track to being okay. And we'll acknowledge it'd be like, we wasted a day.
Oh yeah.
And it's because of the snowball effect of the way I responded, what you said, just all of that. And it comes back to, okay, so we just need to talk about this, like that one thing.
Right.
Because otherwise it just blows up and you lose control.
And so part of when we disagree about something, part of it is you like to talk, you're a microwave, and I need time to process. I'm a crock pot.
Yeah.
And so part of that
So
is,
say this quick, because we're almost out of time.
Oh.
No, I want you to finish your thought, but then we are going to pick up on this next week. Go ahead, finish that thought. You're a crock pot, and I got a lot of words.
yeah, and so sometimes it's just a matter of letting that chemical in your brain subside, get filtered back out. And then you calm down, you separate and you calm down and you come back together and you go, this got way out of hand. I was flailing, I was kicking my legs and knocking vases off counters and pictures off walls. And I really only wanted to talk about the vacuum cleaner, you know? Not that we've ever had a conversation about the
That's
vacuum
not like
cleaner.
public.
But it's like you let that chemical or whatever happens in your brain when you get upset or hurt or
And it just, you give it control.
It time. And
Well, yeah,
you
yes.
give it time to just filter out of your body. And then you come back and you go, I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry I even did that. Let's just talk about this one thing. And I can't believe I wasted a day of my life with you.
And that's what can end up happening.
Yeah. Because we started late in life, and I hate wasting.
Yeah, it
I
sucks
hate
to waste a
wasting a day. It's like I wasted a whole day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
You don't.
Yeah. Well, I sure enjoy this conversation. I hope that there's value sometime down the road for somebody. And this isn't from a place of being doctors and counseling or therapy. It's from a place of life.
Right.
We have a lot of experience in the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we want to share that with whoever will give us the time to listen. Right now, we are out of time. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you have an amazing day.
Bye for now. Thanks for joining In Pursuit with Pastor Bill and me, Denise. We hope you will tune in next Thursday at noon as the pursuit continues. In Pursuit is a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio, on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. WAJC is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. The opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of the owner.